This bike is a frame set that was sent to me that I've built up, and I've been riding a lot. I actually did over 100 miles on it today down here in Florida. This bike was sent to me by Oak, and they wanted to do something different with a bike brand. They are focused solely on racing, and solely on racing in specifically the United States. So it is called the Twilight for our specific race known as Twilight races, where we race crits at night. United States racing is based upon these. I race a ton of these. I crash at night all the time around city squares, and I think this bike is a great candidate to crash on a city square with. So let me walk you through why I think that is the case. You may recognize this frame. It is from China, but they bring the bike here and they do some final quality assurance measures just to make sure the bike is great when they send it to you. I did build this up and noticed one thing that was a little bit annoying, which you have to route the handlebar cables on your own. That kind of bugged me a little bit. Everything else about the build was awesome. They send you a BB in-flight bottom bracket, I believe. It's a one-piece aluminum, really nice, and you just press it in from one side, but you do also have to have retaining compound in there to keep the bottom bracket in, kind of like a Hambini style. Very nice, very light. And I have BB30 on here, so it is like a press fit bottom bracket, and then the bearings are a little smaller, but so far they have been fantastic as far as their durability and everything. No creaking, nothing. Everything up front is pretty standard. I think this is one of the prettiest bikes I've ridden in a long time. It's well designed, like looks great. And that's kind of what they wanted with the brand, is kind of base it around stuff like Rafa. A little bit more hipster vibe, where you have very basic, simple looks, but like tastefully done. And I think they've done that with this brand. Like Oak is based upon his last name. And I think everything looks great. Like, I like the oak leaf on it. I like the green. Never thought I'd like a dark green bike. It kind of is like a British racing green, which I've always been a fan of, like British racing stuff, McLarens and whatnot. And yeah, I think it just looks awesome. So I'm going to go through the build that I've done on this. Obviously, it does have the integrated handlebars, and you get a lot of options with these handlebars. I went for 130 millimeter stem with 38 centimeter bars, which is what I would always want to ride. It is a large frame. I usually ride like a 56, but a lot of these brands, they're kind of bigger. So 56 kind of lined up to the large frame size of mine. And so, yeah, I put some SRAM on it. I really like racing crits with SRAM, and specifically the Apex group set, just because you can dump a shifter and you're not bankrupt, which I enjoy. I also have some rival parts on here, so I've got a mismatch of different stuff. I think that's very crit to put mixed match components on. So SRAM, Apex, shifters, and then rival rear derailleur, red front derailleur with like red double chainring and cork arms on there. So I've got some lightness where it can count, and then on less durable parts, there's some aluminum there that's going to hit the ground. And on this bike, I've actually got it in more of a training setup right now than racing. If I was racing, I'd probably put a little deeper wheels on it, and I think this bike would look awesome with some deep wheels, maybe with some like light white logos to match Oak. But I have it in the training setup, which is these a little bit narrower, little less deep Reynolds wheels with some P0 races on them, and they've been great. I've just got normal tubes in there, and I haven't gotten a flat in a while, so I'm just going to keep running tubes while I can. The rest of the bike build was super easy and simple, and it rides fantastically. Like the whole back end, just with the drop chainstays, which is pretty standard these days. The whole back end just feels like a race bike. Everything about this, it's like super low, super long. You get in a great position for racing. I don't even have to slam the seat all the way back on this frame size, so it gives me a really good like center of gravity on there. Whipping between corners is pretty nice too. I would love to race this bike. You can look at their website. They've actually got like pretty good pricing on this, and they're starting to do full builds, which is super exciting. You can buy a full build from them, so you don't have to buy just a frame set and then build it up on your own, which is pretty common with bikes that are manufactured in China that come at a better price. And I think this one is a great middle ground between having the good manufacturing in China at an affordable price that is competitive, but also you have like good quality assurance done in America, done in Boise, Idaho. And the brand is super focused on racing. So they support race teams. You're going to see them at a bunch of crits this year, but I was descending Pilot Mountain in the rain, which is a mountain near me in North Carolina. And it was kind of my first like ripping up on this bike, and it handled it super well. Like descending in the rain is probably one of my favorite things, and you can really tell a lot about a bike by how it corners when traction is not super high. And this bike, super stable, but responsive where you wanted it. So I really enjoyed it. I like all the build kits that come with it. He threw in some bottles. He gave me a shirt, which was sweet. The branding on this company is fantastic. So go check out the fine people over at Oak. See if they've got something that you like. They also have this in white, which I think the white looks really good. I don't think I'm responsible enough for a white bike, but the green for me has been spectacular. So far, my experience with this bike has been fantastic. They did just a great job with all the little details. It feels great. It rides great. Just compliant enough in the back end, but stiff enough in the front, sharp enough handling to feel like I would be super confident. Ripping around a crit, anything like that. Thanks for watching. See ya.